Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you checking out the channel. If you enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification for all future videos. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting my channel over the last few months that I've gotten started on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Today's going to be an exciting video for me. I wanted to go ahead and dive into my top 15 favorite films of all time. I get a lot of people sometimes giving me a hard time because I say, oh, that's in my top favorite films of all time. This in particular is going to be my top 15. So if you've heard me saying that about something that wasn't in my top 15, I apologize. You're not going to see much horror on here at all. But I'll get into that as I go along. Horror is probably one of my favorite genres, if not my favorite, but these top 15 favorite films, this is my list, okay? So these are what they meant to me. A lot of times movies that are going to fall in my favorite films of all time are very nostalgic. Not only that, they make me feel a certain way. When the credits roll, I'm sitting there and I'm stunned and I can't move. And I'm going to go on my rants, as I usually do. If you're new to my channel, that's something I do. If you're a returning subscriber, you know me by now. So, but yeah, I can't wait to get into it. Once again, this is my list, what they mean to me. I'm not going to have films that you love on here. Some you might hate, some you might love, some might fall in your top 15, and some might be one of your least favorite films of all time. So be sure to sound off in the comment section what you thought of this list, the rankings, and let me know your favorite films of all time. What are some of your favorite films? I know it's very hard to make a favorite films of all time, but I tried to do my best here. It changes every once in a while, you know, depending on your mood and things like that, but I am excited to get into it, and we're going to go ahead and start with number 15 and work our way down. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, and I'll talk a little bit about each one. It's probably going to be a longer video. So, starting with number 15, The Butterfly Effect right here. Love this film. I did not get a chance to see it in theaters. I saw it on, I believe, DVD probably for the first time. I'm a big Ashton Kutcher fan. Amy Smart's in this one. It's got a good cast. It's really good. This film just made me feel a certain way when I watched it. I'm not huge into the... It depends on the film. I was never really into like the repeating or going back in time and changing your future kind of thing. But this film works for me. It's so... I don't want to say super intense, but there are very intense moments. Like I said, a big Ashton Kutcher fan, but there's like, I don't know, it's relatable in a way that you can resonate with the character trying to get it right. Keeps going back in time, and he just can't get it right. There's always something wrong, and I think that's a great message to us, is that no matter how much we want to, we can't change the past. We can't. We could go back and we could try to keep doing it over, but look at the way it turns out for him. So I love this film. Number 15 gets the list started with this one. So it's a beautiful steelbook. This is Zavi. There's the back of the steelbook. So yeah, Butterfly Effect, number 15. All right, let's get into number 14. We've got I Can Only Imagine with Dennis Quaid. I love this movie so much. I saw this in theaters. I went to the theater to see this by myself. I knew my dad had seen it, I think, before me, and after the movie was over, I gave him a call. I've seen Mercy Me, which is the movie, the band that the movie is based off of. He's the lead singer, Bart. Bart? Is it Bart? Yeah, Bart. But it's a really good film. This movie has me in tears so much throughout it. If you know me by now, you know I'm a sucker for anything father-son related in movies. I'm super close with my dad. Grew up watching movies with him. In this movie, there's a scene in the movie where, oh my God, there's some incredible moments. But yeah, grew up in this movie. It just resonates with me. And his dad becomes... He was super abusive to him, and he becomes later on in the movie the man that essentially his dad becomes the man he wants to be. So and he didn't get enough time with him, and it's such a good movie. There's some incredible moments in this movie. I Can Only Imagine, great song too. So yeah, this one, it's not gonna speak to everybody. It's Christian writers and film directors, film writers, but I like it, and I just enjoy this movie. I enjoy the heck out of it. I watched it on Easter, just cried my ass off watching this one. Yeah, it just means a lot to me. The father-son duo in this movie, it's powerful. This film is very powerful. And you know what's great about I Can Only Imagine? You don't have to be like a Christian to enjoy it. Those directors, the Irwin brothers, I believe. Yeah, the Irwin brothers. They're great. And they write and direct really good movies that are Christian, yes, but you don't have to be a Christian to enjoy. So I feel like I Can Only Imagine got really good reviews universally, and a lot of people enjoyed that one. So the Peanut Butter Falcon's up next. I remember seeing this in theaters. This is number 13, and absolutely loved it. I only got around to seeing it once in theaters, but I've seen it several times since then. It is a very easy rewatch for me. It's about 90 minutes long. It just flies by. Dakota Johnson is one of my favorites. I love her. She can do no wrong. I love Shia LaBeouf. Not a ton of people love him, but it's great. Love this movie. It's got Zach Gottsagen in it as well. But yeah, this is such a good movie. After the credits rolled, I've talked about this one before, the credits hit, and I just sat there, and the song played, and I was just listening to it. I was in tears as sometimes it's not even that the movie or the movie ends super sad. It's that sometimes you watch something so good in the film, and the direction and the director and the writing and the acting and everything about it just makes you feel a certain way, and you're just in tears from appreciation of the film. And this movie did that to me. I remember my buddy was just like, "You ready to go?" And I was just like sitting there. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to talk. And I had to sit there, and he just waited at the outside of the theater for me once I was probably the last one out. But yeah, I mean, I don't care. This movie means so much to me. Everybody, I think, enjoys this film. It's powerful. It's just a very, and I'm not super into happy stories or anything like that, but it's a really feel good story. And so every once in a while you really need that. And it's just a great, great story. This is so much fun. Oh my God, it's a masterpiece in my opinion. Okay, next up, this movie would be number 12, Hotel Mumbai. Oh my gosh, this movie is so good. It flew under the radar for most people. I don't think anybody really knew about this film. It's got a great cast. It's really well acted. In my opinion, I think it deserved some recognition for Best Director. But it was never going to get that. It's super independent. I remember seeing this in theaters, and I don't know if I ever felt as angry or as much emotion or being on the edge of my seat as I had watching Hotel Mumbai. It's so violent, it is. And I think if there's a complaint from anybody, it was the violence in this movie. A lot of people didn't think it needed to be this violent. It's based on a true story about, let's see here. I don't want to do it, I want to make sure I do it justice here. But the story of humanity and heroism vividly recounts the 2008 siege of the famed Taj Hotel by a group of terrorists in Mumbai. So it's based on the true story of the 2008 terrorist attack on Mumbai, but it starts quick. So like if you're not into slow-paced films, this film is so far from slow-paced. It starts fast and it does not let up. And it grips you from beginning to end. It truly does. And it will make you feel so much emotion. I don't think I've ever been so angry watching a movie and felt that much emotion. I thought it was accurate. I thought it was really well directed, and it respected the true events. And the biggest complaint about it being too violent, in my opinion, I actually think it had to be in a way to depict how gruesome the real life events were and how unfortunate it was. And I think that it made this film even better because it made you feel that anger and emotion. And Oh, it's a very, very good movie. Very good movie. I can't recommend this film enough if you can handle that kind of violence and because it's a true story. So, but I love that one. I love that one. This would be number 11. We've got Warrior. I've talked a lot about this film. I have mentioned it in my top 15, and here it is in my top 15. When my dad got remarried, he asked me to be his best man and asked me to do something for him. He doesn't drink. He hasn't had a drink in a long time. So he's like, hey, do something for my bachelor party, but, nothing out of the, crazy. And so I can't remember exactly what we did. I think we went like mini golfing or something like that. And we went to see this movie and did a couple other things, but he had a blast. And we both walked out of the theater saying this was one of our favorite films of all time at that time. And it falls at number 11 for me. So Warrior is incredible. I don't have a brother, but if you're been following my page for a while, Derek from Convicted Cinephile has been a brother to me, like a big brother. So I had made a joke about this movie with him. But yeah, Warrior is incredible, absolutely incredible film. It is so heartfelt, so passionate, so just well made. I love the director of this movie. Let's see here. So you've got Tom Hardy in it. You've got Joe Edgerton. Jennifer Morrison's also in this. Frank Grillo, Nick Nolte. And yes, and so it was directed by Gavin O'Connor. He directed The Way Back, Miracle, Pride and Glory, a lot of my favorites, to be honest with you. You're absolutely going to see him on my top 25 directors of all time. Love this movie. I can't say enough about it. Super emotional, powerful ending. Super emotional ending. This film, it's just, yeah, I can't say enough good things about this movie. As I go in deeper into my top 10 and stuff like that, sometimes when you love a film so much, you don't know what to say. You're lost for words in a way. You're speechless. You know what I mean? You're left speechless when you love something so much. And this is one of those films. I absolutely adore it. I use this if I need to feel inspired or like lifted up or anything like that. I'll watch this. Absolutely. For me, I put that above Rocky, as for me personally. Yeah. All right. Number 10. I believe this is number 10. We've got Drive, this big box set from Second Sight Films. I have a steelbook of it. I just didn't want, I was like, you know what? I got this out. Let me grab this instead. This thing is heavy, but yeah, Drive is incredible. Absolutely love this movie. Ryan Gosling's perfection in it. There is not a ton of dialogue in this. It's pretty slow pace, and I'm not always into slow paced films, but this movie does it so well, so remarkable. It is violent. It's ruthless. It's shot incredibly well. Beautiful colors in this movie. Great soundtrack. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. Great story. Well written. Incredible cast. Absolutely adore this movie. I remember seeing it and I was like, this is absolutely a favorite of mine. Most people love it, but I actually have heard a few people talk poorly about this film, but I love Drive. Easily in my top 10 favorite films. Yeah, you can't say enough about this film. It's great. Everything about it. This film is so well directed. This director's really good at a lot of things he directs, though. So yeah, that is number 10. All right. Next up, so from Drive to Baby Driver, we've got number 9 right here, Baby Driver. Love this movie. Another one of those driving movies, but this is very similar. It's another race, kind of not a racing movie, but kind of a bank heist sort of, and he's the driver, much like Drive. But this is number 9. Great soundtrack as well, incredible cast as well. This is a fun movie, super fun movie. Absolutely love it. Super great steelbook as well. I actually like it better than the 4K steelbook. I like the colors on this one more. This movie is a blast from start to finish. John Hamm is in it, Eliza Gonzalez. It is so much fun. It is a blast, a total blast from start to finish. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I remember seeing this in theaters and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have a ton of expectations. I didn't really know much about it. But when I saw this, I left the theater and I was like, that is an all-time classic. It was up there for me as a favorite of mine. I was very excited to watch it on 4K, and the disc wouldn't play when I got it. I had to go back to Best Buy and get another one. But yeah, this one is a instant classic for me. I absolutely love Baby Driver. It is number 9. All right. Number 8, which is going to be Disconnect. I'm missing the slipcover for it. Still got to get the slipcover. I have a buddy, had a friend actually, don't talk to him anymore, named Diego. He had recommended a watch list for me. He actually got all these watch lists started for me. It was his first watch list he ever gave me. He's given me like 24 films on each one. So I go through and I watch films people recommend when they make me watch lists. And this was on his first one. I never heard of it, didn't know anything about it. I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't read a plot synopsis, nothing about it. I didn't see the cast. I didn't do anything like that. I saw this one day at Disc Replay and I bought it for like $5. It was on the watch list. I'm like, I'm going to watch it anyway, so let me check it out. I remember watching this movie and AWOL Nation is the opening song, Sail, and I was totally into it from there, but it is so well shot. It is one of those films where there's 3 different stories. There's more than 3 different stories, but they all collide at the end to make like 3 different stories. And it's incredible the way they collide. This film will have you in tears at parts. It is accurate. I remember when I watched this movie, I got a lot to say about it, but I was so obsessed with it. I ended up watching it again a couple days afterwards. I called my buddy Will and I was like, hey, you want to come by? I got this movie. You got to see it. So he came by about a week later. I had made a note, a sheet of notes, about 50, like it was like 40 or 45 bullet points that I wanted to discuss with him about it because he's super passionate into films as well. And so I did that. And after the movie was over, he was giving me new things that he thought about it that I didn't have written down yet. So we discussed this movie after it was over for like an hour and a half. I'm not joking. And he loved it as well. And it is so good. He was like spotting things during the movie. It's so heavy. This will absolutely fall under one of my favorite directors as well. Henry Alex Rubin. He directed Semper Fi as well, which is a great one. But yeah, I love this film. I can't say enough good things about it. After the film was over, I was in tears as the credits rolled, and I was sitting in my room. It was great, and I got to watch it by myself. So, oh my God, it was incredible. Love this movie so much. I love the cast. I love Jason Bateman. You've got an incredible cast. Like I said, it's accurate. There's so many things that are still hold up today. This came out about not quite 10 years ago, but still holding up now. Actually, probably more accurate now than ever before. And there's so many good things to love about this movie. It's another one I could really watch it on repeat, and I get something new out of it every time I watch it. So that's Disconnect. All right, I believe that was number 8. We've got number 7, which is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Love this movie. I don't know what's going on with him, Ezra Miller. But Logan Lerman's one of my favorite. You got Emma Watson here. I love this movie. I adore this movie. I watched it. I didn't get to see it in theaters. I watched it for the first time on my own. And I was like, oh my God, this movie's incredible. It's some romance in it. You got some great laughs. It's well directed, well written. It's after a book, made after a book, but you know, a lot of people say the book is better. Some people say the movie's better. I haven't read the book. I don't really read a lot. I don't read any novels at all, actually. But yeah, I love this movie. The ending, there's an incredible quote in it. And just so many great quotes in this movie. I love this movie. I love Logan Lerman. I can't say enough good things about this movie. It is an all-time favorite of mine. I just adore this film. I absolutely adore this film. I've seen it a bunch of times. It's another one, you know, and you're going to see that about my favorite films of all time here, but this has great rewatch value. It's a very easy rewatch for me. It's super great film. Oh my God, I love that movie. If there was ever a time I would get a tattoo, I swear I could see myself getting a tattoo of the quote at the end of that movie. Number 6, we've got Men of Honor, Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro. They both were eligible or more than worthy of Academy Award nominations for this, but I'm 99% sure this movie didn't get any award recognition, but it is so good. One of my all-time favorite directors, which is George Tillman Jr. He directed The Hate U Give and many other films, The Longest Ride, but love George Tillman Jr. I love Cuba Gooding Jr. and I love Robert De Niro. And this movie is so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It is powerful. There's a great father-son dynamic and duo at a couple scenes in this movie that just really hit me and struck a chord with me. But it is such a good film about just perseverance, not giving up, going after what you want. And this film will give you goosebumps. It'll lift you up. It'll encourage you. It's so good. I love this movie. I did this conversation with KB, and I talked a little bit about this movie, and he's like, I could hear the passion. But the next 5 movies I get into are my top 5 favorite films of all time. And if you watch my conversation with KB, you're spoiled because you already know what it's going to be. But yes, this is one of my all-time favorite films of all time. Absolutely. 100%. Number 5, we've got Cruel Intentions. You can see the smile on my face. I love the cast in this movie. Absolutely love the cast. Sarah Michelle Gellar is great. Ryan Phillippe, Reese Witherspoon. Oh, this movie is excellent. Excellent movie. If Arrow Video can put out a 4K of Wild Things, then, and this is out of print, I want to see them do a 4K limited edition box set of Cruel Intentions. We need that in our life. I could use a poster of this movie. Absolutely, I would hang it up for sure. But I love Cruel Intentions. Most people are definitely surprised by this when I say this is in my top 5 favorite films of all time. I don't care. The soundtrack is incredible. It is pretty intense. It has intense moments. You can find yourself in certain parts of this. It's a very like evil characters. Just manipulative, but it holds nostalgia for me too. I probably watched it, right around 12, 13, maybe a little bit younger. My dad had me watching movies I probably shouldn't have at a younger age. But yeah, this is an all-time classic for me. I love Cruel Intentions. A lot of people probably are definitely surprised by it, but yeah, Cruel Intentions is a no-brainer for me. I've always enjoyed this film. I love, like, people who haven't seen it, showing it to them. Oh my God, I love Cruel Intentions. I can't say enough about it. I love the cast in this and just how great they all are together. Such good chemistry. I mean, this is just 90s gold for me. I love Cruel Intentions. Number 4, we have got Backdraft. Another one that might surprise a lot of people. But nostalgia, right? Nostalgia plays a big factor in, your favorite films of all time. I love Backdraft. It's incredible. You got Kurt Russell. Is that William Baldwin? So Kurt Russell, William Baldwin, and Robert De Niro. Ron Howard directed this. Another good one with a really good soundtrack, in my opinion. It is intense. There is great moments between the two brothers in this movie. You got a father-son dynamic in the beginning of this movie. But yeah, it's really well made, well directed. I cried my ass off when I watched this as a kid. I was probably like 8 or 9 or 10 on VHS watching this. Absolutely loved it, adored this film, and I still do to this day. It's a longer one. It's over 2 hours, pretty well over 2 hours, probably 2 hours, 15 minutes if I could get a runtime. 2 hours, 17 minutes. So yeah, and I think you got Jennifer Jason Leigh in this as well. Let's see if I could find, I don't see a cast on here. I hate that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Jennifer Jason Leigh. You got somebody else in it as well. Rebecca De Mornay, who's in it? Yes, that's who's in it. And Donald Sutherland as well. So you've got an all-star cast in this one. It's so good. This movie's so good. I know like some firefighters I've talked to aren't the biggest fan of this one. But out of all the firefighting movies out there, and I've talked to firefighters before, they like this a lot more than like the TV shows out there, like Chicago Fire and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of firefighters I've talked to, some of them actually enjoy this one out of all the firefighting films out there. But yeah, love Backdraft, absolute favorite of mine as well. We're getting into the top 3 now. The top 3. This one, I adore this film. We have got Death Sentence. Talk about an accurate revenge flick. This movie is so good. It is so good. Oh my God, I love this movie. I need a one-sheet poster of this in my life. I can't say enough good things about Death Sentence. I did not get to see it in theaters. James Wan directed it. Kevin Bacon stars in it. You've got a great cast. Kelly Preston. Speechless. Death Sentence is the most underrated film of all time, hands down in my opinion. I'll argue that with anybody. If you haven't seen this, you need to stop what you're doing right now. Go watch this film after this video at least, or pause this and go watch it right now. This film kicks ass. It is about a father. He has two sons and a wife, Kelly Preston, and one of his sons, and this isn't a spoiler, but one of his sons, I mean, I guess, you know, it's spoiler, but it's in the plot and the trailer. One of his sons is killed in like a gang initiation at a gas station, and he wants to get revenge. The guy that killed his son is not going to get enough time in jail. He's going to get like a slap in the wrist, basically, slap on the wrist. So he takes kind of matters into his own hands. I want to talk a lot more about it, but I don't want to spoil it. So let me try and beat around it without spoiling it. So you've got, this movie's unpredictable. It's accurate. It has him, there's scenes where he's like learning how to use a gun. When he kills for the first time, he is shaken and doesn't know what he's doing. He's freaking out. And it's emotional. This movie has a great soundtrack. It is so emotional. This movie had me tearing up for a revenge flick. This could be considered horror, sort of. I would call it more like a revenge action, dark revenge action movie. But this is UK. It's Region B. They don't have a Blu-ray in the US for it. I have it on DVD. I still got to get a Region Free player. So I cannot wait to rewatch this movie. Again, seen it quite a few times, but it's going to be a fun rewatch. You've got John Goodman's also in this. Garrett Hedlund, I believe, the guy from Four Brothers. He's in this one. He plays a villain. But yeah, it's violent, it's bloody, it's action-packed. It has great, like, hidden kind of tones in it. A very, I guess you could say, controversial ending, but something that could be talked about. And it's just super unpredictable. Honestly, this movie will go in directions that have you surprised. It's not one of your happy-go-lucky movies, which I love. I love that it's not just like, yeah, here we go, it's straight revenge and everybody's going to die and it's going to be a happy ending. No. This movie is dark. It is dark. It's very dark, and it will go in places you didn't quite see coming. So I found this movie to be one of the more accurate revenge flicks out there. This is such a good movie, Death Sentence. I can't say enough good things about it. Number 2 favorite film of all time, which you're going to see this director also in my top 25 directors. We've got Black Hawk Down. I'm not a fan that they don't put the title on there, but yeah, Black Hawk Down right there. And there's the back of it. I love Josh Hartnett. I loved him in the 90s. I thought he was a star, a stud, absolutely great. Halloween H2O, Pearl Harbor, The Faculty, Black Hawk Down. He was killing it. 40 Days, 40 Nights. There was so many good films that he did. I love this movie. I absolutely love Black Hawk Down. I watched it in theaters with my dad when I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and it's still my favorite war film. I mean, it's my number 2 favorite film of all time. It is my favorite war film of all time. This is probably the film that got me into war films and made me fall in love with that and made it one of my favorite genres or subgenres, if you want to call it that. I love Black Hawk Down. It's emotional. It's action-packed. It's a very stressful movie. It is sad. It's realistic. It's well-directed. It's long, but it flies by. It's very well made. It is such a good movie, and this has a very special place in my heart as, you know, a movie that made me fall in love with war films and things like that. So I love this movie. I love Black Hawk Down so much. I can't say enough good things about it. I think Josh Hartnett was an underrated actor. I think he was pretty good in the 90s and early 2000s. Unfortunately, just kind of disappeared. But this also has Eric Bana. It has a great cast, a lot. It's Tom Sizemore, I believe. Yeah, it's a really good one. It's very stressful to watch as well, but it's a super great film. Love this movie. Very emotional, very emotional. All war films are usually emotional. And number 1 favorite film of all time. If you know me, you probably already know what it is, but I talk about this film a lot. We have got The Town. I own like 6 copies or 7 copies of this movie if you include the DVD. I love The Town so much. I adore this movie. You've got, I didn't know who Rebecca Hall or John Hamm were until I watched this, and I was like, they put like, this movie put them on my radar. I love Rebecca Hall, and I love John Hamm because of this movie. Jeremy Renner's great in it, and then Blake Lively, of course. She's very good in this movie. And then Ben Affleck. And I have this collector's edition of it that has a director's note from Ben Affleck, and he talks about having Blake Lively and how he wanted to have somebody that's really, like, run down and isn't attractive, but Blake Lively's a super, super, super attractive actress. And so they've really kind of did her up in this movie and made her look pretty awful, which she still almost looked good, in my opinion. But yeah, Blake Lively's great in this. Ben Affleck's great in this. And he wrote and directed this. I love The Town. It is my #1 favorite film of all time. I saw it in theaters. I took my buddy Chris to watch this. It's not his type of film. He's very big into horror, but he still loved this movie. I don't know if he loved it, but he was a fan of it. He did like it. And I don't think he really wanted to see it. But yeah, this is #1 for me. Ever since I saw it, it's been #1. Nothing's been able to take it off of my list. I thought it was super great. There's some scenes in this movie. The director's cut, in my opinion, is even better. So much better. It's about almost 25 minutes longer. But there are some scenes in this movie. It's so accurate. The attention to detail is incredible. They go into, like, they're in the shower in one scene and they're scrubbing their nails, getting ready for a robbery so that they don't have, like, any kind of evidence left behind. It's just things like that. The attention to detail are incredible in this film. But yeah, it's really good, and the ending is explosive. It's awesome. I love watching it on my soundbar, and just, oh, it's such a good film. I love this one. I can talk about it for hours and hours and hours, how much I love The Town. I'm not going to argue and say that it's, like, to me, it's my favorite heist film of all time. I understand most people say Heat or something like that, right? And I understand Heat is incredible. I love Heat. But yes, The Town is #1 for me. Now, there's a lot of, I could have honorable mentions, things like that, but I'll try to break down a top 25 one day, or top 50 or top 100 favorite films of all time. This is my list. I understand that there are going to be, remember, this isn't your list. It's my favorite films of all time, not yours. So there's going to be things you don't agree, things you hate, etc. But I would love to hear your favorite films of all time. We all have our favorite films, what they mean to us. They, nostalgia reasons, nostalgic purposes. They could be whatever it might mean to you, Maybe it's a father-son thing, a mother-daughter, you got a brother or sister or something like that. So different films mean different things to me for different reasons. Take The Strangers, Pray at Night, for example. I'm a big fan of that movie. I'm honestly a bigger fan than the original because I have a sister, and there's a really emotional father-son moment in that movie. And I have a sister, so that movie is very heavy into the sister-brother dynamic. So things like that, play factors, a lot of father-son moments in these movies that are some of my favorites. But I love horror. Scream would absolutely, if I could do a top 20, it would be in my top 20 favorite films of all time. Scream is the best horror film of all time, in my opinion. Unfortunately for me, these films make me feel this way that nothing else can. And Scream does, and it has huge nostalgia reasons. It's first horror film I saw of all time, but it's not something I would put above these, if that makes sense. But I love Scream, so if you're thinking, where's the horror? No, it's up there. Just not in the top 15, if that makes sense. But yes, all of these films are all-time classics. They're all-time favorites of mine. I would love to hear your thoughts, which ones you've seen, which ones you enjoyed. If you haven't seen them, I would highly recommend them. Some of them are violent. Some of them, are very emotional, sad, true stories, different things like that. But yeah, I'd love to hear some of your favorites, which ones of these you enjoyed, things like that. Like I said, if this was your first time to my channel, awesome. I'm excited you came here for my top 15 favorite films of all time. You might not have enjoyed it, but hopefully you did. I enjoyed making them. These are my favorites. I'd love to hear yours. Be sure to hit that like button to help support my channel. Share the videos. That always helps support our channels on YouTube. Subscribe, please. That is, of course, going to help support me. And hit that bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. I'm doing a lot of stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to stay busy and produce and create new content for everybody. So this was a fun one for me. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it. I hope you all have a great weekend. Please hit me up in the comment section letting me know what some of your favorites are. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.